worst. A daring, confident man. The fair-haired behemoth glanced down at himself and fingered the button hanging from a thread on his jacket. I suppose. Let us make a small wager, then, Finn continued, giving no hint to any of the fear that prickled along his nape. If you win, which I've every confidence you will, you get to pummel me into paste. But if I win, we go about our evening and part company as friends. The tiniest of bets, which I'm certain you agree to, because you're a wise and quick-witted fellow. Excellent. Finn nodded toward a patron seated alone at one of the rickety tables, bent over his mug and regarding the room through red-rimmed eyes. You see that gentleman over there? I wager that he'll be unconscious on the floor within the next 15 seconds. Hatchet Taylor can hold his liquor better than anyone here, the giant smirked. He ain't going no place. So, we're in agreement. Finn set one of his mugs on a nearby table, which likely meant that one of the men seated there would drink it, but sacrifices had to be made, and held out his hand. The huge blonde man stared at Finn for a moment, then spat into his palm and offered it to Finn. Suppressing a sigh, Finn copied the gesture and shook the big bloke's hand. At least he had a handkerchief tucked into his jacket, which he made good use of the moment his opponent looked toward the aptly named Hatchet Taylor. The wager had drawn the attention of several patrons nearby, who eagerly watched the exchange. Their own side bets immediately followed, with nearly all of the tavern's regulars laying odds that not only would Finn lose, he'd also be laid out flat with a single punch to the face. Finn pulled out his timepiece. Fortunately, he'd had the foresight to wear one of his least ostentatious watches, so he wouldn't attract the attention of every pickpocket between here and Soho. 15 seconds, beginning now. He, the large man, and half a dozen others watched as Taylor drained his mug. 5 seconds elapsed. Taylor swayed in his seat, but remained upright. 10 seconds had passed. Even in the din of the taproom, Finn heard the giant beside him crack his knuckles in preparation for the beating that surely was to come. Finn didn't give him or the onlookers the satisfaction of fidgeting or looking at all uneasy, though. His attention was fixed solely on Hatchet. Taylor abruptly lurched to his feet, swayed, but remained standing. 3 seconds remained, then 2, 1. Taylor pitched backward over his chair. Both man and chair tumbled to the ground. The onlookers were silent, until those that had wagered on Finn cheered. The losers grumbled as coin changed hands. Gloating was always bad form, so Finn nodded politely to the giant before turning to head to his table. Yet he knew what was coming, and purposefully dropped the remaining mugs he held moments before the huge man clamped a hand on his shoulder. As the colossus spun Finn around, Finn launched his own punch. His fist collided solidly with the bloke's jaw. The chap's head spun to the side, his eyes fluttering, though it didn't quite hide the shocked look on his face. He took a step, sank down to his knees, and then hit the sticky, puddle-strewn ground. A moment later, an impressive snore shook his body. The bystanders gaped, looking back and forth between the unconscious man and Finn, all of them wearing matching expressions of disbelief. Finn tugged on his coat, adjusted the folds of his neckcloth, and walked to his table. His brother Kieran and their friend Dominic Kilburn frowned at him as he approached. "Where are our drinks?" Kieran asked, eyeing Finn's empty hands. "If you're in need of refreshment," Finn answered, as he dropped into his seat. "Get it yourself." Dom rolled his eyes. "You knobs can't fetch your own ale." As it often happened when they were in this part of town, Dom's East London accent came out thicker, undoing the elocution lessons that had been drilled into him after his father made a fortune leasing dockyard warehouses. "I'll get 'em." Dom got to